What's happening, friends? Welcome to Unlocked. It's the world's #1 Xbox show. It's episode 295 we're up to already for May 10th, 2017. I'm Ryan McCaffrey. Coming up on this week's show, some major Mass Effect news breaking about the future of the Mass Effect franchise, or if or when there will be a future of the Mass Effect franchise. Yet another Assassin's Creed game is leaked, so it must be this year. More from EA, some updates on what's going on with this year's Need for Speed. BioWare's new game isn't even announced yet, but it's already delayed. Some news on what you can get with NBA 2K18's Legend Edition and who the cover legend athlete is. Some Injustice 2 DLC news that should make Destin happy, and much more. But first, I want to remind everybody, most of you hopefully subscribe. If you do not subscribe, maybe this is your first show. Number one, I'm not normally this boring and horrible. I'll explain why in a moment. But number two, please subscribe, even though this is what you're getting right now. It gets better after this because the rest of the crew is here to back me up. iTunes, subscribe there, whatever your favorite podcast service is. If you're watching on IGN, you can always find current and past episodes of Unlocked. Click on the Shows tab at the top of the homepage, and then click on Unlocked underneath that. And then on YouTube, we've got an Unlocked YouTube channel. We're doing lots of fun stuff, which is youtube.com/IGN Unlocked. So I'm Ryan McCaffrey, Destin Legary here, Alana Pierce,
Great.
Mark Bedina subbing in for the really horrible Marty Sleva, who couldn't be bothered.
He went to kind of funny.
I've been told I'm a worse looking Marty Sleva. No.
Same.
No one's told me that.
People tell me that all the time.
You're much more cleaned up than Marty is. It's the opposite. He's a worse looking
messy
you.
in such a perfect way, though. Every hair out of place is perfectly out of place.
You guys ever seen him with his glasses off?
No.
Every
I don't
time he
think I've
takes his
ever seen
glasses
that.
off, sometimes because he sits across from me, he'll take his glasses off and rub his eyes, and the whole time I'll be like, what? He looks like a completely different person. His eyes are so much bigger than you would think. It's amazing.
I want to just say, I really want to express a sincere thank you to the literal thousands of you out there who sent words of condolence and support. If you hadn't heard, I lost Maggie on Monday. I was hoping I wouldn't do this on camera, but her
I'm gonna start crying.
her leg condition got too bad. She could first she couldn't jump anymore, and then she couldn't run, and then she could barely walk even around the house. I had to put carpet runners all through the house because she just would slip and fall over on our hardwood, and then it started to turn. So it's a degenerative neurological condition, and it started to become turn into incontinence to go with that, and that's when I knew that it was probably time, and her vet agreed. So we had an awesome last day. I took her to In-N-Out.
I saw that.
I put a video up on it on my Twitter, which I wish I'd filmed the second one, because I gave her the first one and she was kind of like, wait a second, are you letting me have this? Are you serious right now? Because I've smelled this a million times. You're the one that eats it. And I got it protein style because I figured she doesn't care about the delivery method. She doesn't need the bun. So I just got it protein style, which it's a lettuce wrap. And so she starts eating it and just like licks it and then starts getting into it. And it takes her a good 30 to 45 seconds to get through. And then my wife goes, should we get her another one? I was like, why? Yeah, why not? Why not? And so we did, and I just presented it to her, and we didn't film it. And literally, like the saying, "You inhale your food."
Yeah.
This was as literal of that as you can possibly get. Like I showed it to her, and truly. One bite, both, because they were double doubles, by the way. So
she knew what it was that time.
It was it's like, oh, now this is okay. I get it. This is for me. Two burgers, 2 pieces of cheese, and it was gone in one bite. And she was so happy. And before that, we'd gone to the beach because she always loved the beach. And fittingly, the last dog she ever encountered was another boxer. Just by sheer random chance. So,
Awesome.
Thank you to everybody for for your support because, man, it's been tough.
Thank you for managing to do the show today.
Yeah, I mean, I took yesterday off, but the very kindness of my bosses, and the day was hard. The last day was hard, but then getting home was way worse.
Yeah.
Was so much worse to have an empty house. So being here is hard because my heart isn't in it today. I'm not going to lie to you at all. I couldn't give a shit about video games today. I don't care about any of this, but I will again. I will get back to that point. But it's easier. It's better than being at home. I mean, being at home would be really hard. I mean, yesterday I actually avoided the house. I stayed out for most of the day. So let's talk about some video games because hopefully that'll help me. And
Good distraction.
Yeah, I mean, video games are helpful to us all in a number of ways. Most of the time we just play them for fun, but sometimes they can help us through hard times too. I mean, I remember, I wish I could remember the game. One of you guys might remember the game, but Greg Miller famously thank you. I wonder if I did that just subconsciously.
Went through his divorce.
Yeah, when Greg got divorced, he said that game. He wrote a blog on IGN. He wrote an article on IGN about how that helped him get through it a lot. And I've told the story before of when I was divorced after being married young. I was stuck reviewing Sega Superstars Tennis, which wasn't a bad game, but I can only ever associate that with a horrible time.
I rebought that game recently because I only had 10 gamer score in it from a time that I had never remembered playing it, and was like, this is unacceptable. And then I tried to play it, and the disc was too scratched. And I had to spend $30 on this crappy old game that I was like, I'm going to try and get more gamer score on this, and it didn't play. It was incredibly depressing.
So
but I actually want to throw to, speaking of that, there's a group of people in Australia, this doctor called Dr. Jennifer Hazel, who just a couple of days launched a Kickstarter that is for a 16-episode web series about mental health in video games. I backed it, and that's one of I think it's the fourth Kickstarter I've ever backed, and I think it's a really important thing. It's both about getting rid of stigmas to do with mental health and talking about how video games help people through hard times.
That's great.
Totally check that out. We'll try and leave a link in the description if we can.
All right, so just breaking today as we record, this is the scoop. Thumbs up goes to Kotaku on this and Jason Schreier. BioWare Montreal scaled down. Mass Effect put on ice for now. And they report in the wake of BioWare's polarizing Mass Effect Andromeda. Fans have been wondering where the lauded sci-fi series will go next, which we actually were all talking about that. In fact, we were speculating. I remember I was thinking, because my thought on it was, I wonder if they'll set aside the new BioWare's new IP that they've already talked about but haven't announced, or maybe they would, because there are two teams that we know of over there, the new IP team and the Dragon Age team. Would one of those get set aside and Mass Effect be handed back to Edmonton? And the answer, according to Kotaku's scoop here, is looks like nothing may be happening with Mass Effect. According to people familiar with the studio, BioWare has put Mass Effect on hiatus and turned Andromeda's developer, BioWare Montreal, into a support studio, according to 4 sources close to the company. What do you guys think of this?
I think it's sad, really. I think that, and I know a lot of people did really like Andromeda. For me, I think it is the low of the series. I don't think it's a bad game, but I think it's the worst of the 4 that they have.
It's a high bar that the series
It absolutely
There's
is.
some really good narrative stuff in there, but you have to find it.
Yeah. And I just think in that, it's like in 2, it's handed to you, basically. The narrative is just consistently awesome. I even feel the same way about 1, which is my favorite. But it's just, I think it would suck for them to go out on this note when we know that the Mass Effect franchise.
Well, this is Montreal. This isn't Edmonton. Edmonton's still working on that new IP, delayed to 2000.
We'll talk about that in a few minutes.
Yeah, that one was delayed. We'll talk about that in a second. So they're still working on stuff. Yeah, they're putting it on ice. Honestly, I feel like EA kind of needed the kick in the butt from the media and the community on this. It's like you can't have developers releasing products like that.
Early access.
They got the message, that's for sure.
Loud and clear. So did every other developer that we've been working with. They're like, well, we got to be more careful with the materials we're sending out.
They did the same thing with Battlefield not that long ago. It was like a bunch of stakeholders were really mad that the game released so buggy, and it's like they have to consider all of those people, and it's probably kind of a fight between people who are stock owners or stakeholders being like, well, we need this to release on this date. And then those people being like, well, we want this to release at this quality. And they have to find a balance there to appease everyone.
I think this all started with Watch Dogs being misleading with their marketing materials.
Yeah.
And even they've taken a dramatic shift with how they present stuff and label their gameplay and everything like that. And this is just a reminder, you cannot get away with this stuff. The community is going to notice, and you're going to get called on it in terms of sales and PR.
Well, yeah, we talk about it a lot that the perception is reality, whether or not the perception is fair. And I'm not saying the perception of Andromeda is unfair. It's, as usual, the truth lies somewhere in the middle. You know, there's a lot of extreme things about how Andromeda, opinions about Andromeda on either side, like, oh, it's terrible, it's this, it's that. Well, it's, you know, the truth is somewhere in between.
It's just really sad. The last time I was on Unlocked was when Alana was giving her like preview thoughts on the game, and I had said that I had never played a Mass Effect before.
Been through a lot,
and I it's been a long road. and I actually played and beat Andromeda, my first and only Mass Effect game, and I actually liked it a lot more than I thought I was going to like it. So it's a little sad that that's going to just be Mass Effect for me for a while. And then the fact that their studio is now a support studio is basically the wording they used.
Yeah, this was Andromeda was their first game that they were leading the charge on.
Right, and now it's just like you're helping Motive with, you know, Battlefront and stuff like that. And you're like, well,
what do you think that was like their big shot? And they're like, hey, sorry, it didn't go well.
I mean, you know,
reining it back in. You're going to be a support studio for a while.
If I were now, of course, thousands, hundreds, if not thousands of people worked very, very hard on Andromeda, and they put their hearts and souls into it, and it's not any one person's fault or anything, but you know, it's
especially not the devs' fault. That's the biggest thing. Is I feel like almost every developer has got to work as hard as they possibly can and always do. It's usually like a publibecause call or something like that. And that's a game shipped before.
Exactly. There's some decisions made up top or what have you, and because that was what I was going to say is, I mean, if I were. I'm not a business executive with that sort of training and expertise, but looking at it from where we sit, if I were EA, I would probably make the same decision. I mean, I would probably say, based on the results, like, okay, well, we're going to move in a different direction with this.
It reminds me of Drive Club. What was it? Evolution, where they were like, Drive Club was just so botched that it's kind of like they shuttered Evolution afterwards.
They did.
And so it kind of like brings that back where it's like your game was late, and I don't know if Mass Effect was late or not. I didn't keep up with it, but
it was delayed,
Drive Club was super late, and then when it came out for the first year, it was just broken. And it's like Drive Club, it should be fine now. I don't know, but it's like Evolution's not, because they had to make that decision where it's like you had your chance and it didn't happen. So I'm wondering if that's what's happening here.
It's damaging to your brands and this IP, and it's really dangerous when this is the talks that we're having about the Mass Effect franchise, you know?
Yeah, who would have thought a year ago we'd be sitting here saying
no way.
Yeah, a year ago, I'm like, new Mass Effect. Yeah, I trust them. Next Mass Effect, I'm going to be like, maybe they'll get it right. I don't know. And that sort of wishy-washiness isn't ideal for them.
You make a great point, Destin. Mass Effect is not only been a hugely successful brand for EA, but
it's been
one of the most beloved brands in the EA portfolio. Like, okay, yeah, I mean, Madden, huge every year, tons of people buy it. FIFA, even more people buy it. And
EA's doing pretty well.
But if you take out sports, like, okay, even like Need for Speed took a year off. We're going to talk about that. That's like, there is a love for Mass Effect that has now been
I'd say tarnished.
Cracked. Yes, that is no longer an infallible love that people have for Mass Effect. There is this notable. I mean, the whole Mass Effect 3 ending fiasco aside, but it's a shame.
When I talk about Andromeda, it's like, I really liked it, but I see all these problems with it that really should have been addressed.
And that's the thing we should talk about. It's not actually that this game is bad. It's just that we're comparing it to the first three. It's still, sevens.
Absolutely.
Right? It's still a good game. It's just that it's not as good as everyone wanted it to be because it's coming after 1, 2, and 3. So
you can like games that aren't good. I play a lot of Destiny.
My favorite game is Deadly Premonition.
Yeah, terrible.
It's a terrible game.
I have a soft spot in my heart for Rise, a clearly flawed
Rise.
game. Absolutely flawed Xbox One launch game, but
I had to finish that campaign though. It's really good.
Campaign's out. The story's outstanding.
Yeah.
That's
The
just
end of Rise is really good.
The end's real
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
That's what's like weird about it, though, is like you said, people are allowed to like games that aren't good, but by IGN's definition, the game is good.
Yeah,
Yes,
seven's
that's-
good.
my point.
It's like they're just like it's not great, so then that's that.
Yeah.
It's a very
It's
weird.
just not good.
Well, as games continue to cost more and more money to develop, the risk goes up and up and up for publishers. As the risks are going up, the costs are going up. It's a hits-driven business. I mean, I think it's not unlike film these days. We've seen that. We see that in movies of, a Avengers movie will cost $200 million to make plus another $200 million in marketing.
Yeah.
So it's a huge bet, but it's like, and then it's got to make, a couple $1 billion. I mean, maybe even like Batman versus Superman's a better example of that movie cost a ton, and it did end up making a ton, but
Critically.
it is not thought well of, and they're of course forging ahead with Justice League and all that, but it's the same thing where people are going to go into Justice League like
I'm stoked about Wonder Woman, but I'm like, are they just tricking me with a nice trailer? Is it going to be a good story?
That's the thing now. Like, I love DC. I have a Batman tattoo. I have more Batman comics than anything else. And I was like a day one buy for Batman v Superman. And then I saw the movie, and now I'm like, oh, I might not be like a day one viewer for Batman movies going forward, which is crazy. I have a Batman tattoo. And it's like, that's the thing. It's like, I'm still going to watch those movies, and I want them to be good really badly. But it's tempered expectations now. And that's kind of the same thing that applies to this.
So they said on ice. How long?
Well, that's exactly where I wanted. I mean, what would you guys do? Would you
I'd wait like 3 years.
Okay, so you think keep it on ice, let these
some DLC
let these
maybe.
wounds heal.
Yeah.
For the game, for the community, and then
They need separation from this.
so.
think so, too.
But the question is, who steps up to the plate next? Sorry, that's a baseball American thing. Who's next? If it's because
Developer-wise?
clearly it will not be Montreal. So do you form a new studio somewhere? Do you ship that new IP and then in Edmonton and then hand it back? Because that's probably based on what we know of BioWare. That to me seems like the most likely situation
Yeah.
here. Where we'll talk about that new IP in a minute, but maybe that ships and then you go, okay, well, whatever your guys' roadmap was, whether it was a sequel to the new IP. Like, no, okay, you're gonna go back to Mass Effect, maybe Edmonton will just alternate between whatever this new IP is and a Mass Effect game.
We all know studios are never working on just one thing. There's always like small teams working on other projects and building them up. I think 2019 is when this new IP is supposed to happen now. I believe
Fiscal 2019. It's actually could be anytime from April onwards,
April,
2018.
yeah.
Again, we'll get to that in a second.
So when we get to that story, like that happens, and then maybe that's when that cycle starts of developing a new Mass Effect.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming when you say new, cutting away from Andromeda, right? Like
It could still be an
leave.
well. So story wise, I'm not sure what they're gonna do.
Sure.
I think Andromeda's okay. I don't know. There's many ways they could go there. They could go
mean,
back
it's infinite
to
pretty
after
much,
3. They could go back to Andromeda.
I think and I haven't played the game beyond the first 2 hours, and I talked about it on the show
Played
that
70.
I'm
halfway through it.
I think there's just such a bad taste that this game has left with people. I think whenever Mass Effect does come around again, they're gonna start over.
Stay away from the
Or
Andromeda.
at least,
name.
the Andromeda will just be a one and done.
Yeah.
That's it.
Probably.
We're gonna do something new.
It's hard for me to pick back up. Like I put all that time into it, but then I took a little break, and you come back and you just see the problems, and you're like,
Might be a Gears of War, God of War situation where it's like we had these one-offs that between Judgment and Ascension, the next Mass Effect could very well just be Mass Effect 4.
That's entirely possible. Yeah, you're right.
But they're all dead, Mark.
Well, I
the
didn't
thing.
play the
Hold
game.
on. Depends which ending you got.
I guess it
Your
does.
shepherd
now.
I
could
got
be
the good
alive.
ending.
True.
They're all alive.
What ending did you
What
get,
happens
Lana?
if
You
your
murderer?
shepherd is dead? Right? Which
Shepherd Jr.
no. There's a scenario where Shepard survives.
No, but my point is for the people whose shepherd did die, they're just like, he's a robot now, I
They've
guess.
done that before with multiple ending games. Though they're like, all right, this one was the canon ending, and here we're moving forward with that.
Well, I
Yeah.
mean, Gears of War 4 is, okay, my bad. Marcus Phoenix is in Gears of War 4, but it's still a whole new cast.
yeah.
People,
Well, that's kind of what Andromeda is, though.
True.
It's going to be a Rex. It's so you remember it'll be Rex. Rex gets his own game.
I would totally play a Rex game.
Because who doesn't love Rex? It'll be like
I love Rex.
Rex prequel.
Like when Frasier spun off from Cheers, and Frasier became arguably an even bigger show than Cheers was. I'm telling you, Rex is going to be the next star of Mass Effect.
I want that now.
He's the next
main character.
Frasier.
He's a Krogan. He's somehow going to become a Spectre, and who wouldn't be excited about
I would
that?
play the hell out of that.
The backstory for Rex is really good. There's a bunch of stuff with his dad,
And
he
everything
kills
to
his
do
own
with
dad and
what
stuff like
happens
that.
with the Krogans, I think, is fascinating. Like
Yeah.
it's an ethical
genophage.
minefield. Like it's awesome.
Please, EA, go back to the Paragon and Renegade system.
Yeah.
Not to the vague. I want to.
No, it wasn't vague. They literally put a heart. This is the love one.
I want to embody pure goodness or just pure evil if I desire it.
I want to know if I pull the trigger, I'm shooting a dude in the face. And if I do the left trigger, I'm going to do a good guy thing.
Can I punch a reporter in the face?
Yeah.
Apparently, a patch recently, they also got rid of the ability for you to date two people at once.
Yeah, there was a glitch where
It's
you
such
could
a
end
weird
up
thing to
with
patch
two
out.
romance things. You can still romance them as you go through, but
Yeah.
at the end, the culmination scenes, I guess you can only pick one, it sounds like. So, yeah. You can't
Why?
pick one, then the other one.
That seems unfair.
Anyway,
No players in Andromeda.
let's move right to BioWare, to their new IP. It hasn't even been announced yet. BioWare's next IP. This is now the second time it's been talked about in a official public capacity by EA. We don't know the name of it. We don't know what it's about.
We do know one thing.
When it's not coming out. First it was, it'll be out by next March. So that's when we sat here and went, okay, well, we'll get the tease at E3 and the whole ball, we'll get rolling with that. Now, maybe we'll still get a tease at E3.
I kind of think we will to save face, actually.
Probably, but BioWare's new game is already delayed. So again, as we were mentioning in the earlier segment, this is the Edmonton game, presumably the new IP that Casey Hudson was working on. And Casey Hudson, of course, being the original creative director of Mass Effect and Knights of the Old Republic before that, by the way. Just in case you don't realize how cool Casey Hudson is. Who, my understanding is he works on HoloLens stuff at Microsoft now. He works for Microsoft, and apparently he's on HoloLens, which is like, if
On
I'm
the show, Casey.
if I'm Phil Spencer, I'm gonna go over to his office and be like, "Hey, buddy, want to make an Xbox game instead of a HoloLens game?
Yeah.
We could use you making an exclusive RPG."
I know what you mean.
He has
HoloLens
his
seems
hood
to
on.
be
He's like,
going
no,
great.
I said I wouldn't do it again.
He's like, they pull me back in.
Just when
Godfather.
I thought I was out, they pulled me
in.
back.
So yeah, the EA saying that this new Edmonton IP has been pushed to their fiscal 2019, which means anytime from April 2018 onwards, which I know doesn't help us much. But Alana, you think we will get some sort of showing of this at E3?
I think we will. I mean, in part because they're making these kinds of statements, but
True.
like that, they've solidified it. Why not announce it? But also because it stops people from associating BioWare with Andromeda.
Another good point.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's part of that strategy we were just talking about, I guess. Good point, Alana. Like, they could just be like, we need to get the heck away from Andromeda right now with the BioWare name.
Yeah.
It's interesting that, so I looked into it and I see you have it here. The delay is attributed to new features BioWare is adding to the as of blah blah, built around a live service.
Well, the buzz, the word on the street was that this is a Destiny-like game in the sense of how it's physically, like its infrastructure and the way it exists.
Yeah.
So a pseudo MMO type of
Shared
situation.
world shooter.
But then it says it won't be an RPG.
Well,
So
it's
that's
going
like-
to mix a bunch of elements,
Yeah,
which is
sure.
exactly
Destiny isn't an RPG.
Yeah.
Their marketing term is a shared world shooter.
There are so many action adventure games that have RPG elements but aren't RPGs, so
Yeah.
I feel like we can ignore that one. But
Division calls itself an RPG.
Okay.
Right.
But
They
it's
ha-
the same
they-
thing, too.
They
It's-
did it.
It's a shared
it's
world.
interesting to think, like, on console, that Destiny seems to be the only game of that format that worked, because the Division didn't.
Well,
Division
it was
did.
huge out of the gate.
Immediately and then dropped off really quickly, right?
Problem was they released their first patch, which basically punished their player base for playing the game. And their player base was like, I'm
Great.
done.
That's
Bye.
strange. I remember when I was playing, and I played a fair bit of it in the first couple of weeks, and I just got kicked off the service bunch in that they would be like, maintenance in 1 minute. And I'd be like, oh, okay.
So the developer felt like farming these credits was cheating, so they basically banned a bunch of people. And then the community didn't like that.
Well, Destiny's done a bunch of stuff to prevent farming as well, though, right?
Pardon?
Destiny did a bunch of stuff to prevent farming as well. Like people would find places
They
that
didn't
were good
ban
to
people.
farm.
They would shut down the
They
loot
just shut down
caves
the
or
loot
whatever,
caves. That's it.
Yeah.
That game got really good. They actually have a survival mode and stuff like that. But yeah, you're right. The player base just dropped off.
Yeah.
EA CEO Andrew Wilson saying of the new BioWare IP, "We're very pleased with the progress of our new action IP," from BioWare, emphasis mine. "We decided to add more to the disruptive new social design for our players." Back in January, when we first talked about this, Wilson had called it, quote, "a clean sheet design with new concepts, new gameplay mechanics, and new stories." And it was called a unique IP that will bring players together in exciting new ways.
That's all vague and markety.
Yeah, but I mean, he's the CEO.
Bring them
It's his
together
job.
in exciting new ways.
But remember that this was teased 2 years ago at E3. We have seen this game, unless they burned that to the ground and started over, which is entirely possible. But it's equally possible, it's about a 50-50 shot at this point, that we did get a glimpse of that game. And if you guys remember, it was a very sort of outdoor, kind of sort of realistic looking, just nature time lapse scene that was shown that kind of gave it didn't look sci-fi, it didn't
showed
look
the tech.
fantasy.
Yeah.
What if it's Shadow Realms?
It's
I'm
not.
joking. It's absolutely not.
I remember them showing that, and I'm just like, what? I don't get this.
Yeah, and it was Casey Hudson on there talking about how we're doing cool new things, blah blah blah. So we'll see what it ends up being, but and whether or not we see it at E3. I think
hope so.
You guys make a ton of great points in favor of us seeing it at E3, but we will not be playing it for at least another year, if not longer.
Man, if they nail the gameplay, though, and it's Destiny, I'll be playing it.
Yeah, I mean,
They have to get everything right, you know?
Overwatch blows up, and every publisher wants a piece of that loot shooter action.
Yeah.
Destiny blows up, and now these things take time. It took Bungie years to make Destiny.
Then where are the games with the Nemesis systems? Damn it.
Yeah.
We all thought they'd be coming. Well, remember, we also thought that when Halo 2 came out, we all thought everybody would start ripping off the party system. Like, oh, you mean I can just stay with my friends between rounds, and we can all stay together and keep playing all night long without having to drop out and reconnect? It took like years for that to become the commonplace thing, because
It took Microsoft making it into their UI.
yeah, I mean it's not easy to do something you see somebody else do something that raises the bar. It takes a while to.
This is why everyone
catch
that
up to
said
it.
like the new Call of Duty is copying Battlefield 1 is insane. It's like there's no way that game hasn't been in development for 2 years. Like,
Yeah.
come
Of
on.
course, yeah. That's not like Sledgehammer was sitting around for the last 2 years going, well, it's not our turn again until 2017, so why don't we all go on vacation and
Start in April.
we'll regroup here.
We'll see what EA's up to. Let's
all
we'll
meet-
just
yeah.
throw something together.
Let's meet back here after EA ships their next Battlefield, and we'll see what we want to do.
I was talking to somebody on Twitter about that, and they just didn't get it. And they're like, I just think it's funny. And I'm like,
Sure, it's funny,
dude.
but that's not
Like,
relevant.
Yeah.
Funny. No, that's not.
More from EA, this time regarding Need for Speed. You may recall, or maybe you just forgot, that Need for Speed took last year off. Last year was the first year we didn't get a Need for Speed game in quite some time.
But we got Forza.
Which
Just saying.
you're
Forza-
you're 100% right
Forza's
about
awesome.
that. Which is why we forgot there was no Need for Speed.
Forza Horizon
last
3
year.
made us forget. We're back.
So EA just issuing sort of a vague statement on the new Need for Speed. They still haven't formally announced it. I'm sure they'll save that for their EA Play press conference at E3. But they say the new game will build upon the core gameplay brand pillars we established with the 2015 reboot. Think customization, think cops, and a new drivable world both on the tarmac and on dirt. the team at Ghost is not stopping there. They also want to address fan feedback and take one of the biggest points of discussion from the previous game head on, the always online feature. We can now confirm that this year's Need for Speed will have a single player experience completely offline. If you shouldn't have to put that in a release,
Right?
That's not a thing you should have to stand up and say.
Hey, guess what? You don't need to be online to play a video game. Thanks. Like that should just be
exciting new features.
Exciting
Offline play.
Yeah.
It gets better, though.
Groundbreaking.
It gets better.
So innovative.
And yes, that means players will be able to pause the game.
What?
Woo! I'm done, you guys. This is news in
I
2017.
can pause and play offline?
2017.
I used to really love Need for Speed. I didn't like the most recent two, and the online only thing. There was I don't remember which one of them it was, but players were cops. So all the players could be a cop or a driver, and
That was most wanted, right?
Wanted, yeah.
It was infuriating
got
because I would just try and do something because I didn't actually want to interact with other players, and then one of them shows up and just chases you forever, and it's like, okay, I don't want to be in this world at all.
Yeah.
Whereas
Maybe they got confused, like took pause out of the game because like the controllers don't have like start buttons anymore or whatever. It's like they're like looking at a PlayStation controller and they're like, okay, we say options. Like, I guess we're not allowed to put pause in our game anymore.
What are these 3 lines? Where's the pause button?
You can't pause the game, but you can options the game. Oh man. Hey, cool. I hope Need for Speed's great this year, but this is gonna come off fanboyish, but it's not. Sorry, Forza Horizon 3, the Hot Wheels thing is out this week.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Good luck to EA because seriously, I mean, Need for Speed, in my opinion, at least, I mean, what the series has been so far, maybe this one's going to be a radical departure. It sure doesn't sound like it by their description. Forza Horizon occupies the exact same slice and corner of the driving racing genre that Need for Speed does, and Forza Horizon 3 has set the bar as high as it can possibly go, and the Hot Wheels thing only made it better.
Yeah. They're willing to have fun now.
Yeah, like cool. Yeah,
I mean,
okay.
I agree.
Let's not forget that PlayStation people can't play Forza Horizon.
That's a fair point. But yes, so this.
But it's also that like, why not have both? Like, if you can have 2 different racing games, then why not have both? Like, I'm cool with it.
No, I'm not saying that it shouldn't exist. I'm just saying
They've made it harder for themselves.
it's gonna be.
Forza made it harder for them.
Yeah, it's gonna be tougher for them to pry Xbox and PC players away from the continually evolving Forza Horizon 3 that just keeps adding more cool content to itself.
The winter DLC for Forza was like super fun.
Oh yeah, the Blizzard Mountain.
Yeah, they added in like
snow.
December. Like but it's so cool. Makes the cars drive all different. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's a great game.
Oh my goodness.
I don't even know how Forza beats Forza, so that's the problem. Like, how does Forza Horizon 4 get
What's
better
the
than Forza
Scorpio one?
Horizon 3? Like, I don't know.
That is also a great point.
Well, the Scorpio version will hopefully run at 60 like the PC version did.
Yeah.
4K 60.
Okay.
I don't care about 4K.
Well,
I care about frame rate.
It's very pretty.
Motorsport will no doubt. Motorsport 7 will no doubt run at 4K 60. That's going to be a big showcase for them. But Horizon's always run at 30, like a buttery smooth 30 because it's a giant open world. It's not a closed circuit track racer. If the next Horizon, meaning, I mean, because I'm sure since 3 was built for vanilla Xbox One, I'm sure it may get the boost on Scorpio. But if Horizon 4 runs at 60 in an open world on Scorpio, that would be
pretty amazing.
real impressive.
You would think it should, because like Microsoft already has this like multi-platform thing where it's like Forza Horizon. Like if you got Forza Horizon on Xbox, you got it for free. You got it free on PC. So it's like they're already in that mode where it's like, here's the 60 frames version, here's the 30 frames version, and I'm sure they'd love it to be 60 frames on their console as well. And so hopefully we'll get.
No, it can't be like that. Like this console generation thing is basically dead. But God, I wish we could just say screw it to Xbox One and just have a clean break.
Scorpio
I mean, like backwards compatibility, great. Like I want Scorpio to run every Xbox game ever made, going all the way back to the original Xbox. But man, I wish games could just be developed for Scorpio.
Yeah.
Pure, like
every game is
Scorpio required for this video game.
You don't want my day one Xbox holding back the Scorpio, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely don't want that.
Because that's the way that like PC gamers see consoles.
Yeah.
Like you could make the same argument, like anything that isn't as impressive hardware-wise is holding back every other game that's ever made. And it's like, it's true, but it's not going to stop.
Yeah, I know. It's but I'm sure we'll still get nice things. It'll still be fine. A couple last things here. NBA 2K18, which some of you might be going, oh, I don't care about NBA 2K18 basketball, whatever. That game comes out every year. Yeah, but it sells like 10 million copies every year. People love NBA 2K, and for good reason. It's been a great basketball game for a long time. So just sharing the release date with you. It's September 19th this year. And Shaquille O'Neal himself is going to be on the cover of the Legend Edition. So for those of you who are super fans that like to pony up for the more expensive version that gets you the early access, gets you all the other in-game goodies, which in this case is, let's see, a poster, trading card, stickers, also some actual like physical meat space content. But then $100,000, virtual currency.
Oh.
So Shaq will be on the cover of that version. Don't know who's going to be on the cover of the vanilla version yet. They always like to milk those announcements, piece them out as much as possible to get as many news beats as they can. But it's going to be $80 for the standard Legend Edition, or pardon me, $100 for the Legend Edition. And then there's a Legend Edition Gold that's $150.
Okay.
That gets you a lenticular, more trading cards, even more virtual currency, even more virtual team packs, etc. So
add-on content.
Yeah, that is the world we live in now. So mark your calendar if you are an NBA fan for this year's game. Although apparently there's NBA Lives coming back this year. I mean, that's what they had said. They said 2017 was going to be the year. So we'll see what they do. They do have a high bar with NBA 2K has been good, but competition's a good thing. Destin?
Yes.
Speaking of ponying up extra cash.
A little bit better value here.
Injustice 2, not even out yet, but it is a good thing that they're telling us at least some of what your extra money will get you if you pony up for the extra version. Remember, we chastised WB specifically 2 years ago for this with Batman.
Oh, yes.
With Arkham Knight, where they did like the $50, $40 season pass.
And told you nothing.
It told you nothing about what was in it. Just like, hey, get it. Because we want your cash non-refundably.
Like, are you even trying to get my money?
So at least they seem to be learning their lesson a little bit. If you buy the $80 Digital Deluxe Edition, you will get the first DLC pack, which is 3 characters. Destin, it's going to be Red Hood, Starfire, and Sub-Zero.
Dude, Starfire being in there is really, really cool. That's been a fan ask for a long time. Very popular from Team Titans. And of course, they did Scorpion last time for Injustice 1. They're doing Sub-Zero for this pack. I would love to see Scorpion in there, although it would be weird if two Mortal Kombat characters could fight.
He's not in Injustice 2 at all?
He's in Injustice 1, and for this one, they're doing Sub-Zero as the DLC character.
Oh, because that's right. They're just like guest characters.
Yeah.
Right. All right. Well, there are going to be 2 more DLC packs because there will be a total of 9 DLC characters. I suppose that's me making an assumption that there will be 2 more packs.
So that's not, you don't know for sure that there's going to be 9.
No, I do. I'm just, I suppose theoretically.
They'll be doled out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I am assuming, we all know what assuming does, that that's going to be 2 packs of 3 packs.
Yeah.
So who else do we need out there? And those others, for the other 6 characters.
So I made the stage transition video when I was at that event 1 week. I don't remember. But anyway, Killer Croc's in there. He would be really interesting to see. I was kind of surprised he wasn't in the game already. And there's a lot of characters from Injustice 1.
Killer Croc's in there? Or
he's in a stage transition. So when you smash somebody through the side of the stage, he like tumbles into a sewer. Killer Croc shows up, smashes you in the wall, and throws you. And then you fight.
But he's not in the game. He's not playable in the game.
But
so they went to the trouble of animating.
He's modeled and animated,
Right.
but he's not in the game. So I'm guessing he would be one of them. There's characters like Solomon Grundy that aren't in this game that were fan favorites in the original. Maybe we'll see them. Lobo was in the original. He's not here. There's just the roster from the old games that we didn't see. I would like to see new characters personally, like they did with this first pack. It's nice to see an all new roster, and I would like to see them continue with that.
Yeah.
So this was, I said $80 earlier. I was thinking of this. So if you buy the $80 digital deluxe edition, that'll get you this 3-pack of DLC characters: Red Hood, Starfire, and Sub-Zero. If you buy the $100 Ultimate Edition, you will get all 9. But of course, we just said, super dumb to not tell me exactly what my $100 is getting me.
Yeah.
Not a fan of that.
I really don't like advocating for DLC, but obviously if you do the math, the $100 bundle is the better value overall. However, you should tell people what they're buying if you're spending money on it. They can't do that. They can't just be like, hey, give me $50 and I'll make something cool for you. Trust me, it'll be great. You're going to like it. That's not cool.
So if it's $80 for
one DLC pack.
Yeah, so that's $60 for the base game. You always start there. So $20. But I'm sure there are other things in the digital deluxe edition.
I'm guessing the packs are like $14.99.
Right? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's my thought as well, because that would sort of amount to a $5 savings at the end if you were to buy them all.
Basically,
piecemeal.
if you do the $100 one, it sounds like you'd get a free pack, basically, sort of.
No, I thought
Let's just say I'm bad at math. How about that?
it'd be $105 worth of.
So you saved $5.
Yeah, that's
okay.
I didn't major in math. That's why I went to journalism school, so I wouldn't have to do math. But
Same.
Correct. Yeah. See. Hashtag.
Yeah, you're right. $5.
Hashtag no math.
So maybe they're $19.99. Who knows? But
He had it right the first time.
I feel like this is
You
a
think
thing
it's
that I've
14?
run into more in IGN than anywhere else.
Sorry.
Just people being like, I don't know how to do math.
I know the math. We're hypothesizing that it's $14.99. I'm counter hypothesizing that they could be $19.99. I'd have to go back and look and see what Injustice 1 content packs were at though.
Well, that would be the smart thing to do that we're not doing. How much did I mean?
It's fine. It's
they
fun to
revealed
listen to.
$20 for 3 characters would be pushing it for me. Like 15 is like $5 a character.
Have they revealed how much this DLC pack costs? I know I saw the trailer. Characters, they're looking cool.
Yeah, not to my knowledge.
Yeah. Okay.
So they want because they want you to just buy the $100 edition of the game.
They're not crazy.
They're just like, trust us.
Yeah.
Give us your money. Like, no, tell me what I get. It's like going to a restaurant. It's like, all right, the bill's $100. Well, what am I ordering? You'll see.
Yeah.
Give us a couple hours.
Trust us. You'll enjoy it.
And then the food comes and like, I have a dairy allergy. I can't eat it. What did I just pay for?
Isn't that kind of what a buffet is? Except at a buffet, you get to
No.
eat whatever you want.
Yeah, because you
Kinda a lot
can
of it.
you
You
can
can look
choose.
at it.
Yeah, you can see what
this is worth
what's
$20.
laid
Yeah,
out
that's true.
before you. It's like the most douchey hipster San Francisco restaurant. Like I guarantee it's got to exist.
Absolutely.
Where there's a restaurant where you go and just you pay a certain amount and you don't know what you're getting.
Yeah.
There's a
That
restaurant.
has to be a thing that exists.
I think there's a restaurant in San Francisco where you eat in the dark, in total darkness.
What?
So, but maybe you know.
I
what
just
you
ate a live spider. That's what just happened.
Yeah. This isn't even cooked.
I know insect protein's the new thing, all the rage these days.
When you order McDonald's, sometimes you don't know what you're getting.
It's true.
I'm loving it. Alana, get us out of here. What can we buy this week?
On retail, you can buy
What can we buy that we know what we're getting?
Prey.
There you go.
You can buy that. I've actually played a fair bit of that.
About that.
We don't know what we're getting. There's no.
You don't know if you're finishing the game or not on PC.
Ew, you could have. You could lose your
bugs.
entire save file. But
In fact, you could play 20 hours, then not be able to continue.
yeah, hopefully that gets fixed.
Please fix that, because I want to play
mean,
Prey.
I'm actually thinking about making a video about that for IGN this week, just about Bethesda's review copy policy and this exact thing
I
happening.
was gonna just bring that up because like I was literally gonna say I don't want to dredge this up again, but I mean not that this happens every time, but
It's like worked until now, but it only
this is
needs
exactly
2 games.
Yeah, it wasn't
this is
interesting.
exactly playing into Bethesda's hands. People bought the game. There were no reviews. That if there had been reviews at or before launch day on a typical review embargo where reviewers get access ahead of time, we would have had a thing up that said,
right
"Hey,
in
there are game-breaking bugs. Hold your horses before you buy this game."
Yeah,
it's
the
just
others
like
are Doom and Dishonored.
Doom and Dishonored
which
too,
are both
and it's
amazing.
Like,
Yeah.
It's kind of like they ended up being really, really good, and so it's not that Bethesda did this on purpose by any stretch of the imagination, but it's kind of like one of those things where it's like, here's some really great games, and see how good our system works, and
Yeah, it's just that we could prevent people from buying it when that kind of thing happens, and that's the thing. It seems anti-consumer, but yeah, I think I'll probably end up making an opinion video about that later this week.
should.
I don't want to touch Prey.
I have opinions.
I want to play Prey, but not until I know that's fixed. I don't want to put 20 hours into a game, almost get to the ending, and then have to start over.
Yeah, it sucks. To talk about the positives of Prey very quickly.
Oh yeah, please.
Super atmospheric because of the way the mimics work, and if you don't know anything, I'm not even going to explain them, but you basically look at every room as a threat, even though there's nothing in it necessarily, and you just like, it makes you survey environments in a really cool way. I'm really interested in the story, and it's totally BioShock, System Shock in space.
The powers are really neat.
Yes.
Also, to be fair, I'm pretty sure I'm right about this for the comment section. That only is affecting the PC version of Prey, correct?
Dan
As
told me.
far as we know, but because
we're aware of.
reviewers can't get it early, not enough people
Sure.
are able to.
Dan, our reviewer, did say there have been instances on PS4, at least one that he knows of right now, and Xbox, but he's doing more research to make sure it's a recurring problem and not a limited issue.
To just PC, yeah.
Yeah. And it's such a hard thing to talk about in reviews as well, because you know it could have just happened to you and no one else.
Sure.
People will be like, I didn't get any of these bugs. You didn't score this game high enough. I'm like, I had to score what I played.
Yeah.
And like based on someone else could get the exact same thing. Like I can't
But the thing
score
about
what
the fact
you
that the
played.
game is out to everybody, we know that we're not the only, he wasn't the only
yeah.
one
There's it's happening.
having that
instances
issue.
of this
Multiple
happening.
people
Yeah.
are having this happen.
Moving on from Prey digitally, we can get NBA Playgrounds for $20. I've heard it's really fun.
Yeah, seems super solid. Our review was a 7 point something. I want to try this out because it's
Boom shakalaka.
it seems to occupy a nice little happy space between street and jam without being quite as good as either one. But
It's fine.
Characters have big heads.
pick up. I guess the online is like it's not done yet.
On fire?
And according to our review, like there's
He's on fire.
There's only matchmaking. There's not friend set up your own lobbies, which is super dumb with a.
So it's a Nintendo
like this.
game.
Yeah.
Oh, there is no online on Switch, according to our review. They're patching that in later.
Okay.
So,
Oh, yeah, because it's not part of the system yet.
but if you just want to play, in your dorm with your buddies, sounds like it's fun.
We also have Lethal League, which is $15. Butcher for $10. World to the West for $25. Save the Ninja Clan for only $3. Bit Dungeon Plus for $7. And AFL Evolution $60. That's Australian Football League, son.
I was just
game.
going to ask you if
Super excited for that
you
game.
knew what that was. And
I'm
I'm
actually-
very glad you did
Yeah.
because
I don't know
so
what it is.
Whoa.
when I looked at that, I was like, wait, somebody made another Arena Football League game? 'Cause you got to be kind of a hardcore sports fan because the Arena Football is pretty obscure. Like it had its heyday in the 2000s, and then the league actually folded. It's indoor football, it's on a field like roughly the size of a hockey rink, and so it's just like constant scoring. It's almost like NFL Blitz in real life.
Oh, awesome.
That's what Arena Football
Hail
League
Marys,
was. So,
100 yards.
like the
good.
league was reformed, and so I was like, wait, is there an arena? And I was like, no, it's Australian.
AFL, yeah.
How's Australian football? Is it like dramatically different than
Is that
American?
the thumb up
Yeah,
your butt
it's
version?
super different. No,
Martin-
that's rugby.
That's rugby. Okay.
I think you guys have rugby
Canada.
as well.
Canada.
I think rugby is played at some
we
schools, but
100% have rugby.
Point
here.
being, no, AFL is more so than other kinds of football, really cardio based. Like there's a lot of running and kicking, more so than there is like tackling. It's very fast, and AFL dudes are super hot. So there's that.
There's a whole video game of it now.
Yeah, I think there've been multiple actually.
Yeah,
we have a bunch of cricket games as well that I've only ever seen in Australia because I don't know if anyone cares about cricket in the US. Marketplace, May Games with Gold. We have the Guyana Sisters. Is that how we decided that was?
Yeah, let's go with that.
Yeah, we're going with it.
Guyana. Twisted Dreams Director's Cut from May 1st to May 31st on Xbox One. Lara Croft and the Temple of Osiris from May 16 to June 15 on Xbox One. Star Wars The Force Unleashed 2 from May 1st to May 15, Xbox 360 and Xbox One. And Lego Star Wars The Complete Saga from May 16 to May 31st on Xbox 360 and Xbox One.
Giving it away. That's a really good deal for the Lego Star Wars Complete Saga.
Yeah, I wonder why they'd be releasing Star Wars stuff right now. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it's totally confusing.
Not sure what's relevant there.
All right. Longtime listener Brandon writes in with this week's Unlock Block trivia. And it is,
Brandon Hunt?
although portrayed by a separate actor in the film, who did Ed Boon voice in the 1995 Mortal Kombat movie? Not sure if Alana was born.
I've seen this movie, and I think the answer to this is too easy, so I'm concerned.
All right, so is it Scorpion, Noob Saibot, Sub-Zero, or Reptile? So which hooded ninja do you guys think Ed Boon, the co-creator of Mortal Kombat, voiced in the film? Do you know or remember that? So Alana thinks she sounds very confident. Mark, I'm going to go to you.
Yeah, so I don't know. I've never seen this movie, but if anybody
seen any movie.
If anybody follows me on IGN, they know that that's a thing. That I just haven't seen movies. But I'm gonna go with Noob Saibot only because that's I don't know his first name. Something Tobias and
Tobias and Ed Boon.
Okay, and then Ed Boon. It's their name backwards. So that's my reasoning with that one.
Gotcha. Destin, what do you say?
I'm
You
going
are
to
currently
go...
leading in this year's quest for the Unlock Block trophy.
I'm not in first.
Not yet.
That's weird.
I'm going to go with the like face of Mortal Kombat Scorpion A.
I'm also going with Scorpion because I know that Ed Boon has voiced Scorpion before.
Yeah.
Okay. You are both indeed correct.
Great.
You are both indeed correct. Sorry,
I was
Mark.
trying to act like, oh, I don't know, but it's totally
Like, it
Scorpion.
has to be, right?
Yeah.
So
Who else would you get to... Yeah.
Marty's suffering for not being here
Suck
because kind of a layup on that one a little bit if you are of a certain vintage, or unless you're Mark who lived under a rock.
He can have the point. He can have the point I didn't earn. I donate
No, I'm
that to
not, I'm
Marty.
not allowing that.
So he
Does that mean
loses
he gets
a
a
point?
negative?
Okay, take a point away.
You can't just give him a point. Only Phil Spencer.
But I did it. But I didn't earn
Did I
it.
get Phil's point?
Yeah, I put it
Tweet
in.
about
That's,
it.
Yeah, that's
You
how
did, she did get it, Phil. we
she
saw the
did.
tweets.
I'm glad.
That GIF of Marty dropping his pen and
Blew up
Phil
this
Spencer just
weekend.
looking. I
He really
watched
dropped
it
the pen on
probably
that one.
100 times. It's so good.
Yeah, it's pretty excellent. Especially, I don't know how it goes that way. When he drops it, I don't understand the physics of it moving just
Away from
I
the
love
table.
that
It
split
doesn't make any
second.
sense. And Phil's just
I'm
like-
gonna go get it, and then he's just like. Phil's just like doing.
Yeah, it's pretty fantastic.
So
So
again,
good.
I definitely need more trivia questions, more Xbox trivia questions. Please send them in to unlocked@ign.com. Include 4 multiple choice answers and note the correct one.
Sorry, does that mean that am I in front of Marty now?
I think
Tied. I think I should be tied with him, right?
it was. I believe you were tied.
Okay.
Hold on.
Feel better about this.
Slowing down the show.
Your title on. Oh wait, she's ahead.
No, you're ahead of. You were tied. Now you're ahead of him by 1.
Suck it, Marty.
You were tied for last place.
Still holding on my 1 point lead.
Be gone for like 2 months, so that's gonna suck.
Okay, so that's it for Unlock Block Trivia, and that means that's time to wrap this whole darn thing up. You can follow me on Twitter at DMC_Ryan. This month's unfiltered guest, I want to mention, is Harmonix co-founder Alex Rogopoulos, folks behind Rock Band and, of course, originally Guitar Hero as well. So a really interesting conversation about the early years. He told me a cool story about how Disney, like in the super pre-Guitar Hero days, they had some of their technology that they made in a Disney theme park. And then we get into the story, the whole rise and fall of the music genre. So check that out on YouTube or IGN. Alana?
Still working on Dark Side of stuff. The last written preview actually went up today, and we'll be doing a call out pretty soon for developer questions. So you guys can ask questions, and then we'll give them to Gunfire to
Yes.
answer.
Are we limited in what we can ask?
Yeah, maybe like don't sexually harass them.
Oh,
Like that'd be.
AMA, ask me anything, right? So
We will
point.
choose the questions.
But good point.
I mean, we won't send them the dirty ones, so you can ask whatever you want.
Why did you think I would go there?
I was making a joke. And
Destin, don't do that again. No, just kidding.
we have a lot of just exciting stuff in the works for E3 at the moment that I can't yet talk about, but I'm really excited to be able to.
It's going to be a good show this year.
Yeah.
Mark?
According to this, you can follow me on Twitter at McBiggity. At Mark_Medina. We just put up the top 10 RPGs video, but even grander, we just put out the top 100 RPGs article. So check that out if you haven't.
And Game Informer did it in the same month.
Some lazy video making. You can't even be bothered to put all 100 in the video.
Yeah,
We're only, you know what?
I thought
We're only
about
doing
Mark.
Let's make a top 100 49-minute video, but we decided against
Kids
it.
love the 49-minute videos
They watch
on YouTube.
The retention
love
rate
them.
on those is real high.
Trust me, I make unfiltered, and I know how much people like long form.
You're just going to see
videos.
they're going to watch the first 5 seconds, then they're going to skip to the end, watch number 1,
Oh, you're
and then
absolutely
be
right.
out of there.
Yeah. They'll skip to the top 10.
Bell curves like.
Well, they'll
Yeah,
go to the
they'll
comments.
just skip to the top 10
Someone's
anyways.
annotated it in the comments, and they just read that. It's great.
Destin.
All right, so I can confirm now that we are doing a huge live stream in 7 days, the Destiny 2 reveal. We're airing at 9:45. We're going to be running until 11. We're going to be showcasing the Destiny 2 gameplay reveal for the first time here on IGN, and then we're going to go back. There's a 6 p.m. embargo. We're going to go live at about 8 p.m. with everything we have from the conference, and we're going to do a live show from LA talking about everything we saw that day, gameplay-wise. So be on IGN if you are interested in Destiny 2 at all. It's going to be an awesome event. I can't wait to talk more about it.
What are we allowed to say? What we're doing there, or just it's the gameplay reveal?
Well, the invites have been sent out publicly. We know we're going there and that we're playing the game.
Okay, so we can say that part. All right, because I'll be there.
Invited to the gamplayay reveal event.
I will not be. I will not be. You and I will. Neither you or I will be here this week. So have fun trying to
It'll be fun.
find some. You'll find it'll just get.
Dude.
Well, wait, I'm here Wednesday.
Oh, you are here Wednesday.
Yeah,
All right, so it's
but
just
I
me.
leave Wednesday night.
All right. So get Miranda or somebody cool to fill in for me. You know, or I know Sean's always clawing his way through the producer's window trying to.
Or, I'm here
Sean?
right now.
Mark's here.
No, it's fun. I'm not cool. It's fun.
This isn't going well.
Let's just get out of here.
We leave?
Yeah, no, I actually next week is I'm in LA all week for the Destiny thing and other pre E3 stuff.
Judges Week.
So yeah, I will miss you guys next week.
Judge, jury, and
to-
executioner.
I am the law.
But I'll be back.
That's pretty good.
You do the mouth thing? I can't do it.
How does he even? It's like a weird.
You gotta cover the top half of your.
The
You gotta be
sound
like.
has to go with it.
Is it close? It's like really, really sad. No, it's just like.
You look like an emoji. Oh, that's great. Yeah.
Okay, let's go. Thank you all again for all your kind words this week. Seriously, that's it's been a rough week, and it's that sucks. So I'm glad we got to laugh it up here for an hour and talk, hopefully fairly sensibly about video games. I always, I know we talk about developers work hard on this stuff, and we try to be as fair as we can when we're talking about these things. I hope, because it's the video game business is a really, really hard business. It's like it is.
A miracle any game gets shipped.
It really is. It is cutthroat. It's so we do our best to be as fair as we can, but also we do need to hold companies accountable when they do dumb stuff that is against the interests of the audience. So
Our listeners.
I don't know. That was a random segue from nowhere, but anyway,
It's true.
I guess I just don't know how to end this week's show because I don't know how to do anything right about now. For Destin, Alana, and the fantastic Mark Medina, appreciate you sitting in, my friend.
No problem.
I'm Ryan. This was Unlocked 295. So I'll see you in 2 weeks. But Alana, Marty, Destin, possibly Mark, possibly one of our other fine crew will be back with you for 296 next week.